So, in terms of thinking about now, what's really important is, from our point of view, from universities, is obviously you guys are in a situation whereby it's not normal. It's very different. You may have lots of worries or stresses, for example, and actually, we as universities really understand that. So we understand absolutely how you're feeling. And actually, can you see this point now as a more positive than it is a negative? Okay, so that's how you can kind of make the most of now. So I'm going to give you some top tips to think about skills for university that you can develop now, but also around work experience, because that's quite a big question at the minute. How do I gain work experience if, for example, I'm not allowed to go into those particular areas or sectors because of the current lockdown? But then I'll also finish a bit around university offerings. So what universities are doing now to try and help you all as students in terms of your next decisions. Okay, so hopefully it'll be really, really useful for you. So the first things first is thinking about skills for university. And what I want to make really clear is that at the minute, a lot of you may feel that you're doing work at home and you are maybe putting towards you're developing all these lots of assessments, etc. And because of the grade system that's been announced, you may be feeling actually, well, my hard work might not be rewarded, but actually it will be. So what you are doing now is going to be really important for the future. So the developing skills that you are putting together, even though you don't realize it, are going to be really important for university. So things like independent study. So being able to work on your own at home, okay, and meet deadlines, for example, being able to be organized and write a to-do list, thinking about priorities and which piece of work you need to do first or within that day. Does it got a particular deadline on it? But also having to be communicative as well. So through virtual efforts, but also through phone, for example. So all of this is developing your maturity. And for your next step at university, all these skills are going to be so vital. So what you are doing now is going to be fantastic and is going to help you brilliantly for your next step into university. So in terms of independent study, that's the thing that is key for university. So any university course that you do will form a big part of it will be the independent study time. So that's managing your own time and making sure you're reaching whatever goals that you have academically. And it's without anyone to push you. So that's why it's independent study, okay? So you've obviously already started that within college and sixth form. A lot of your teachers and your tutors will be pushing you to do that already. But that's something, and the reason they're doing that is because that's going to massively help you when you get into university, okay? So what you are doing now is technically independent study. So depending on the course that you're looking at, sometimes you may be in slightly more, sometimes you may be in slightly less. So it completely depends on the type of course that you're going for. You might have more time independent study for things like English, history, or creative writing. You may be out of lectures a lot more and a lot more independent. Whereas something like a professional accreditation course, you may have sort of more in class with less independent study. So all of it, what you're developing now, can be really beneficial for the future. So in terms, obviously, at the moment, all of you aren't in school or college, but there are ways that you can help develop that independent study while you're still based at home now. So the first thing is note-taking, okay? So a lot of you might do this already or kind of have a process of doing this already, but picking out really important elements of text. So that could be through journal articles, news articles, it could be through blogs as well if it's related to your chosen degree. That's a really practical skill that will hold you in good stead for university, especially when you're trying to write an assessment and you only need a small part of that journal, picking out the most important points. So that's one thing you can work on. The second is actually just get a discussion going. So get a debate going with any of your friends or some of your teachers, for example. So the amount of apps that we've got at our disposal now, I've learned so much I didn't realize existed. So actually you can use all of those things, first of all, to obviously keep up to date with people, but actually get a debate going about a particular question that you've been given or a particular topic at the moment. So those things can really, really help, especially when you're looking at forming an argument in an assessment in the future for university. Think about your goal setting as well. So at the minute, what are you hoping to get out of that work that you are doing? Okay. So what are you hoping to get, whether it's sort of the grade at the end of the year, or whether if you're in year 12 or your first year college, you sort of set up for that year 13 and second year, and start to think about what you want to do long term. So for example, if you're looking at courses and you're finding out a bit more about courses online, have a look and see where that course can take you. And if you've got any really sort of interesting ideas around career goals. Plus, do you need to do anything extra to gain that career? So do you need to do any further qualifications, for example, not just a degree? And finally, think about active reading. So especially books or particular journals as well in terms of your chosen subject at university. So pay real attention to what you're reading. So as I mentioned before about note taking, don't just kind of read, take as much in as you can, and pick out those really important points that you can summarize. A really top tip, if you've not done so already, most universities will develop a reading list. So any of you that are in year 13 or second year of college, hopefully over the summer you should get an email from your department or your choice of university, and they will let you know kind of a reading list to have a look at before you start. So that's a great thing. Equally, if you don't hear from the university, absolutely ask them. So give them an email and ask, well, actually at the minute, what can I find out about? So what can I read? What's a really great book to read? What's a great couple of articles to read? And that will really help the transition from where you are at the minute to university. Again, that's equally as important for year 12 or first year of college as well. So getting an idea of maybe even modules. So if you can't find out from the university, have a look on that university's website and see what modules are on offer, and then read around those particular modules. So that's a really good way of being able to transition, but also to get a sense of what to expect, okay, for your future university course. So that's thinking about the skills. So in terms of next things is looking at work experience. So this is the question we've received a lot, and I'm sure a lot of other universities received as well. Now remember, the first thing first to tell you is please don't worry. So I know a lot of you, especially in year 12 or first year of college, and some of you in year 13 and second year may have had experience planned for this summer. And because of the current situation, that may not be possible. So we as universities completely understand that, and will absolutely take lots of other things into account. So first of all, think about what you've got already. So what knowledge and what experience have you done already? Okay, so reflect on what you do know. So what are the gaps that you're missing? What is it particularly that you really need to get a good idea of? What's really good as well is keeping a reflective diary. So for any course that requires work experience, think about a particular reflective diary. So what have you learned equally in the current situation? What did you learn about any experience that you did before the COVID-19 situation happened? That's really, really good to do. Plus, especially with things like if you're thinking about healthcare professionals or teachers, for example, or even people like lawyers or a range of different professions, a lot of them may be slightly easier to respond to. So if you want to chat to anybody about any particular work or career path, now might be a really good time to give them an email or give them a phone call. With lots of people being based at home, obviously they will equally be as busy in a different sense, but it's a really good chance to maybe chat to a current practitioner about a job that you might want to do. Plus, have a look at online resources. There is so many brilliant online resources that you can utilize. So the first thing is MOOCs. If you've not heard of those, they are massive open online courses. And there's a range of different subjects you can look at and different topics. Some of them even have sort of a certificate or an accreditation as part of it. So I know I've seen some students do a sign language certificate or a course, which is fantastic. It's a great thing you can add in terms of future skills or hobbies, or pop onto your CV as well. Some unis are doing kind of work experience courses, so it's like an online work experience course. I know one of them is something called Observe GP. So for any budding medics out there, that's from the Royal College of GPs. Having a look at kind of relatable journals or articles as well. So especially with this, be really careful about the source of that journal or article. Make sure it's a proper scientific or from that particular institution in terms of that. So obviously not looking at, for example, a range of newspapers, because some may have a slightly different thinking and a different purpose behind it. So looking at really reputable journals or articles can be great as well. Plus utilising kind of social media in terms of the particular institutions or the particular companies or organizations. So the official social media accounts for those types of things, they're really useful to have a look at. Equally, if anyone's looking at teaching, having a look at the national curriculum for the age range that you want to teach, that can be really, really worthwhile. But also now, and I'll talk about this next, is have a look what universities offer. So lots of universities are offering some brilliant subject type lectures. So that means you can basically have a look at getting an intro into that subject or something really particular. So all of that can still be considered really excellent work experience in light of what's coming about at the minute. Okay, and I'm sure most universities have a very similar process in terms of thinking about those extra work experience examples that aren't practice-based. Now, I have seen some students who are actually volunteering. So I've seen some schools and colleges, some students are maybe working in pharmacies and working out in the field, volunteering for the NHS. And absolutely, that's absolutely fantastic. But please only do that if you want to and you can do. Okay, so it's not essential because of other things that you can utilise and because of your own health and safety. But some students have decided to do that based on their own thinking. Okay, so there's lots of really good practical thinking outside the box ideas you can look at rather than just traditional practical work experience that will still help you for any course going into the future. And what I'd sort of talk about finally is your virtual options. Okay, so as I mentioned at the start, universities are really keen to make sure that you are supported as much as possible. So some universities are slightly further on than others. Some are sort of just getting in the process of getting everything together. So it's really worthwhile having a look at a range of different things. Okay, so I'll pop all these up on the screen so we can read them. So some universities are doing virtual timetables. So whereby they have a range of live, or it might be pre-recorded sessions that you can watch in your own time for around 30 minutes to an hour out of your day. So they're really fantastic things that you can find out about, generally about general HE topics, so student finance or personal statements or UCAS, or more subject specific. So finding out about a particular subject and what it would be like to study that at university. Lots of unis have some absolutely brilliant virtual tours as well. So you can actually see the campus in person, whether that's a video being delivered by a student guide, or whether that's an actual sort of 360 where you can move around like Google Maps. So please do have a look at those. And a lot of universities include kind of accommodation on there as well. So you can see accommodation firsthand as well. Some universities are even being particularly clever about podcasts as well. So university staff or staff from the sort of role that I do talk about various topics relating to HE. And sometimes for a lot of students, I know it really helps me, just listening to someone can be a little bit better than watching a presentation. Some companies as well, so for example, some of you might have had a chance to go to a UCAS fair before lockdown occurred, or some of you might have been planning to go to a UCAS fair. UCAS and both UK University Search, which are two big companies, they're actually offering virtual fairs or some form of virtual fair. So actually you can go onto online and go around a variety of stands in a sort of virtual lobby. So check with your careers team and see what they have found out or what they might be planning for you as well. So it gives you that opportunity to still speak to a number of institutions in the one place. But also think about, I know sort of questioning in particular is really important. And some of those questions, you might not think they are sort of important, but actually every question is important to us as universities. So lots of unis are offering a live chat facility, or you can email the admissions team if you're worried about anything. So anything that you want to ask about, I promise you that there is never a stupid question. If it's really important to you, then it's important to us as universities. So please do get in touch with any questions that you might have. And a lot of universities might do kind of include students in that as well. So you can actually ask students about, student life or a variety of things, okay? Utilize social media too. So have a look at, especially for those of you in year 13 or second year of college, have a look at the induction week or freshers pages on Facebook or Twitter. But also for year 12 and first year college students, have a look at student life through Instagram, through Facebook, through Twitter. And that links in with student blogs as well. So think about lots of universities offer a variety of different blogs on the website written by students. So you can find out a bit more about that nitty gritty of day-to-day life in terms of student life. Plus, if any of you were planning to do maybe a virtual residential or a physical residential, before obviously lockdown occurred, lots of unis now offering that virtually. So I know it won't be exactly the same experience of living away from home for a couple of days and then studying a subject that you want to do. But lots of universities are trying their best to make it as still significant as possible. So that could be a great thing both for kind of your transition into uni, but thinking about what type of course you might want to do as well. And what I thought I'd do is just finish on some final thoughts before I hand it back over to John. So just a note, I know a lot of you will know this already, but for anybody in year 13 or second year of college, UCAS have now extended the deadline that you have to reply to your offers. So basically, you're looking at that first bullet point on the screen. So basically, you all have until the 18th of June to decide where you would like to go. So which is your firm, which is your insurance, and which particular universities that you decline. Okay, so it's just giving you a bit of extra chance with the current situation being as it is in terms of obviously deciding exactly where you want to go. And also think about other things as well. So this is for all students. So have a look at, accommodation. So using those virtual tours, having a look at what might fit your budget as well. Check out as well, a lot of students don't get the chance to do this, but because you're based at home and you may have slightly more time than you would normally going into school or college, check out that city or town as well. So don't forget about the place that you want to go to. So what is on offer that's really close? And think about student finance as well. So anybody in year 13 or second year of college, you can apply for student finance. You've got until the 22nd of May to apply for that. If you're in your first year of college or year 12, have a look into what you might be able to get based on parental income. So there's a really good website called Student Calculator, and you can actually work out how much money you might have at the end of the month based on all the costs that are coming out as well. Plus, prepare for a plan B as well. So if something doesn't go right on results day, when you come to results day, have a backup plan. So you've got that time now to think, actually, if, for example, I did go into clearing, what university might I want to go to, or what course might I want to do instead? So you've got that chance now to research a little bit in more depth, to have that plan B, just in case plan A doesn't work out. But keep in touch with your careers advisors as well and your careers team, because they will keep you absolutely up to date with any opportunities, and take those opportunities as well. So it's only going to benefit you the more opportunities that you take, especially around making that final decision. Okay. And for now, just to finish on, is that, as I said at the start, it's obviously a very negative and very sort of apprehensive and anxious feeling at the minute. But actually, for all of you students, take it as a positive. Use this time now to really find out exactly what you want to do and exactly where you want to go by doing that research.